Today we are going to be looking at Fra Angelico's Last Judgment. This painting came from the Monastery of Santa Maria degli Angeli here in Florence. The monastery doesn't exist anymore. It was founded in 1200s and 1290s by brother Guidone d'Arezzo, who was a great Italian poet in the years before Dante wrote the Divine Comedy. The monastery was a branch of the Benedictine order, which was called the Camaldolese. And it should be noted at the beginning, because we'll see many monks represented in the painting, that they wore white habits. The monastery by the early 1400s was famous in Florence because it was the place for the largest scriptorum for the writing of manuscripts, and also an artistic center dominated in the earlier part of the 1400s by the figure of Don Lorenzo Monaco, who was an artist as well as a monk, who was the teacher of Fra Angelico, the painter of this picture. In fact, Fra Angelico probably painted after Don Lorenzo died around May 1424, otherwise he would have gotten the commission. Another point about this monastery that's important to keep in mind is that it was one of the intellectual centers of early 15th century Florence, and particularly around the figure of Ambrogio Traversari, who was a translator of Greek early Christian texts into Latin, and attracted a seminar which people like Cosimo de' Medici and his brother Lorenzo attended, Paolo Toscanelli, the great mathematician, Niccolo Nicolai, who was a great collector of early of books, particularly of ancient texts. Now, let's look a little bit more in detail at the painting. Here we have Christ in glory, surrounded by angels, because we are a painting of Santa Maria degli Angeli, in other words, Saint Mary of the Angels. On one side is the Virgin Mary, on the other side St. John the Baptist. But you see these two trumpeting angels. They have trumpeted the end of the world and the resurrection of the bodies, which this magnificent perspective which we see of the empty tombs. On either side, on one side, are the condemned, and on the other side, the saved. We'll look at them in more detail, but let's see what's up above here first of all. Look here, we have different saints, and one that's easily recognized as St. Peter because he's carrying the keys of the church. He's in yellow with a book. But next to him is Moses with horns of light coming out of his head and carrying the tablets of the 12 commandments. In other words, Fra Angelico has fitted in this vision of paradise not only the Christian saints, but the Old Testament Jewish prophets. Over here, you can see another one of these prophets, who is Job. We know this from the recent restoration, which they did infrared reflectography, which looks underneath the painting surface, and found the inscriptions calling this person Job. In other words, Fra Angelico was asked to paint him. Above here is the figure of King David with his psalter. He's the one who wrote the Psalms which the monks at Santa Maria degli Angeli would have sung every day in their choir. Look down below here. These are the condemned, the ones who are about ready to go into hell. The devils are pushing them in. There's one man, though, who looks up at the heavens, and he is actually in the same sort of dress as Job. In other words, he is a Jewish elder asking a why, not being completely ignored. The condemned are in their street clothes, the clothes that they wore while they were still in life, now that they have carried them with the resurrection of their body. But once they go into hell, which is divided into sections, rather like Dante's Divine Comedy and the traditional iconography, according to the sins that one has committed, they have become naked. They're nude. And the other thing is, though you can pretty much tell who is a woman and who's a man, they've lost their primary sexual characteristics. None of the genitals are shown, and the woman's breasts are almost flat. At the bottom part, you see the devil, the Lucifer, who is munching at different souls, very much like the vision that we have in Dante's Inferno. He's in a vat of boiling fiery water where other saints, not saints, excuse me, other condemned are being boiled to death, boiled and tortured. But that is done with silver, slightly tarnished now, which must have been a wonderful original effect. The vision of Inferno is based upon Buffalmacco's frescoes in the Campo Santo in Pisa. Angelico changes many aspects of it, but essentially following the traditional iconography. See, iconography and of the saved souls, which is so very original in this picture. We see they are gathering in their street clothes, just like the ones on the other side, but they look up at the heavens and clasp their hands in prayer. They see the beatific vision. Then via via, slowly, angels come and embrace the souls, with particular emphasis upon those dressed in white of the Camaldolese order. Here, though, is a Dominican, and we must remember that Fra Angelico himself was a Dominican, so they are being brought into a dance. But there's a couple of other ones here, like a layman, a cardinal, or here, a very nice scene of two Camaldolese monks in discussion or being reintroduced by an angel in the middle. The dance goes around a beautiful garden with a source of water in the center and a palm tree here. We see the souls are in simple costumes and they are dancing with groups of angels. We're always here in St. Mary of the Angels, Santa Maria degli Angeli. This dance would remind a Florentine viewer at that time of Dante's Purgatory, in which Dante arrives in the upper levels of purgatory to the reign of earthly paradise, and he meets Matilda, and Matilda brings him along on a dance, and then there's a great procession. But to the monks of Santa Maria degli Angeli, they would have also been reminded of the poetry of their founder, Guidone d'Arezzo, who wrote a beautiful poem about the mystic dance, and which helps bring the soul closer to God. I will now conclude with the vision of these two souls, paired, going into earthly paradise, which probably reflect the donation of the relics of Protus and Hyacinth, which were given by the brothers Cosimo and Lorenzo de' Medici to Santa Maria degli Angeli in 1422, and put in a special reliquary designed by Angelico's colleague Ghiberti. Thank you.